What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the video. I just wanted to talk about a game we played recently. Uh, I never ended up making a series on it, and that was Gears Tactics. We'll have some gameplay from the playthrough in the video, but I just wanted to talk about what I thought about the game overall. Uh, yeah, not scripted, of course, but if y'all enjoy the gameplay in the background, if you enjoy the thoughts on it, anything at all, hit the like button, consider subscribing. I don't know if we're going to go back to Gears Tactics. Hopefully they do make a sequel. If they do, I'm definitely down for it. I do like the Gears saga, so I'd love to see some more Gears of War games. I'm excited for when 6 comes out. But anyways, let's start. So how did I feel about the game overall? I did enjoy it. I guess I'm pretty easygoing. I do generally enjoy the games I play. There's not many that I've not enjoyed. But when I look at this game, I gotta compare it to another game that I do play a lot, and that is XCOM 2. And so when I compare it to when I compare Gears Tactics to XCOM 2, there's a couple of issues with Tactics that I have. The first issue I have is a lot of the missions just feel too similar to me. They feel like exact copy pastas. The maps are basically the same. The objectives are the same. It's all the same stuff, just over and over again, in between campaign missions, and really, they don't feel as enjoyable as they could be. After a little bit, it starts to feel like, oh, this is just fluff to make the campaign feel longer. That being said, I do want to know that while there will be quite a few negative things, overall, I do really enjoy the game. I do feel like I need to stress that a lot, because I don't want people thinking this is just a negative Nancy video. So, aside from the variety of the missions and the lack of variety on the maps, the next big issue I had was the bosses. I'm not going to spoil what the bosses are. We will have gameplay of one of them, the first boss you face, which I guess we'll spoil it here, is a Brumac. But the other two we're not going to talk about. As far as the gameplay for them, honestly, the Brumac didn't feel too bad. Basically, your objective with the Brumac is to shoot it in the back, and that's how you kill it. But it also have turrets on its hands that you can shoot to stop it from doing shooting attacks, and really disable it to just stomping. And once you do that, it makes the fight a lot easier. But the other two bosses, the second and the third one, honestly, they were kind of lacking. The second boss was really just a bullet sponge, and it was a constantly like moving back and forth, right to left on the map, dodging its attacks that it set up, and killing the ads on the floor, and then getting one or two people to be able to shoot the boss, and just rinse and repeat that. It was an overly long mission because the boss was a bullet sponge, and you had to deal with the ads that constantly kept spawning. There were a couple funny instances where the boss's attacks would kill some of the ads that I had to deal with, so that was always funny. But aside from that, that was a big gripe there. And just like with that one, the third and final boss was unnecessarily long. I think I was stuck on that mission for an hour, because there's so many issues with it. First off, the boss basically goes back and forth between the area, and your team is split up into two teams of three, and he'll go back and forth between the two sides and shoot missiles that take one turn. So on your next turn they'll land, and then he'll go to the other side where your other team is. the you can shoot and destroy the rockets, the rocket launchers, but I feel like it was really unrewarding there because literally you destroy him, he'd fly to the other side, and then his rockets would be back, and just then it started to feel like there was no point in targeting the rockets. So that was a miss on my part on Gears Tactics part in my mind. The second issue I have is with the constant ad spawning, the dodging the missiles, and how tanky the boss is. I just felt like the mission was so overly um, elongated. There was just the mission was way longer than it needed to be because the returns that I spent having to deal with the ads, not shooting at the boss. And while that's okay at the beginning, just there was no end to these ads, and if you don't focus the ads, you get overwhelmed super fast, and it just made the mission a lot longer, not in an enjoyable sense. Um, I felt like the people watching me were getting tired of it. I was getting tired of it. It was a lot longer than it needed to be because of that. The third and final main thing I want to point out about Gears Tactics that I didn't really like is the idea of heroes. Now in XCOM you have heroes, right? You have the skirmishers, you have the Templars, and you have the what's the third one? Reapers, right? But they're not required for any missions where you have to sacrifice the own soldiers that you make. So throughout the game, I recruited COG soldiers and I dressed them up in cool armor and customized them to look awesome for me, and I really liked using them. And throughout the campaign, I kept running into issues where I had to use the heroes, like it was required. And so the soldiers that I spent the time customizing and really liked, I didn't get to use. And that's doubly so for the final mission, where every character slot is taken up by a hero, and you don't get to take any of your custom characters into the final mission, which I just feel like overall that was a huge issue for me. While I like having the hero idea, the hero class, really I enjoy customizing and creating my own characters and using them to complete the missions. So being forced to use a different class, or being forced to use specific characters, while it makes sense in story mission, ultimately it was very disappointing, and I would hope that if they do make a Gears Tactics 2, that we don't go down the route of forcing you to use heroes or specific characters. Really, those were the main negatives there. Overall, I really enjoyed the game. I don't remember getting many glitches, so that was good. The unique executions, I liked that. I liked how you could use executions to give you extra moves, and unlike XCOM, where you could shoot and move or shoot twice, like shooting didn't end your actions. I feel like that what do you call it, flexibility there was a big win there. And overall, despite all the negatives there, I still really enjoyed the game. I love Gears, and seeing the armor, seeing the characters, seeing the story of Gabe, who I was very interested in, was very exciting. I don't think they're going to do a Gears Tactics 2. I do feel like there was an open ending for it, but honestly, unfortunately, these studios are owned by Microsoft, which I like Microsoft, but 343 Industries, for example, with Halo Wars, cut support for Halo Wars 2 because it didn't make as much money as the other Halo games. And just basically what I'm trying to get at is these games have a smaller community, and they don't generate the kind of revenue that the main series games do. and so because of that, these studios will most likely focus on the main story rather than getting the what's it called than doing these games. So while I really want a Gears Tactics 2, I'm not holding my breath. I don't expect it. Um, I haven't checked the reviews on this game, but I know generally the communities are pretty tough on the games, so I expect that this game got a pretty low score, probably like a 6 if I had to guess. Personally, my personal rating would be an 8, maybe a 7. 7 to 8 would be where I would rate this personally out of 10. Um, so yeah, I would love to see on the topic of Halo Wars, I would love to see them make a Halo Wars 3 where it's this style of a game. I know Halo Wars is like real-time strategy game, which I love, and I actually really enjoyed Halo Wars 2 despite the feedback they got. I thought it was really good, but I would love to see a turn-based Halo Wars game come out. I'd love to see what that can do. But I've been rambling. I apologize we didn't get a playthrough out for this. I just at the time lost motivation to edit the videos, to be honest. So we're just gonna do the review, and I promise going forward on the other games we do, we'll do better at that. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed. If y'all want to see some other gameplays, I've got some on the channel. Check it out. Consider subscribing for future ones. As we speak, we're actually doing a Lords of the Fallen playthrough where we beat each of the bosses without taking damage, and that is a lot of fun. After that, I'm thinking we'll probably go into Elden Ring just because I'm on a Soulsborne kick right now. We'll see. But yeah, thank you all so much, and have a good day. Bye.